Video is on anxiety, kind of self-image, and goals and advice. What's kind of ironic is I'm posting these videos, right? And I'm hoping that I can help reach out to people and change the world in some respect. But at the same time, my advice to you would be don't take my advice. Use discernment or use a faculty within yourself to if something resonates with you, to continue moving forward and expanding your awareness to that, because there's many times where I'm wrong. I actually don't even know what I'm right at. I'd like to think I'm right in a lot of areas, but I could be completely wrong. We won't get into flat Earth and all that, but I mean, at one point we thought the Earth was flat. At one point we thought the Earth was the center of the universe or the solar system. At one point we thought that probably the proton was the smallest particle. I don't know. I'm just making that up, but I'm just saying things change. Things change. So who's to say what's right now is not going to be wrong later? That being said, anxiety, self-image. We all struggle to some extent, and I wanted to talk to you guys about that. That I post a lot of positive things for the most part. Sometimes I haven't posted, and then I'll think about it. I'm like, dang it, I really want to tell this person off on Facebook. I really want to do this, and then I'll delete my comment because it doesn't promote what I'm trying to preach. It does no good for me to preach one thing but promote something else. And so I catch myself too. I make mistakes. Okay, sometimes I'm sorry if I've ever posted anything on anybody's wall or in rebuttal that was not nice. But that's because, part of our self-image is you have this viewpoint and you go along with this viewpoint and your brain tries to find this, and this that supports your paradigm that you believe in, because to find things that don't support it really throws your brain for a trip, and it makes you feel like you're being attacked, and it wants to protect you at all times. So you're always looking to find evidence to support what you believe, even though there could be ample evidence to not support what you believe. Okay. And so for our self-image or anxiety, just so I can be real with you guys, I lost my hair. See, it's still kind of there, but I keep it shaved. I don't like how pointy my ears are. I got self-image issue with that. I got self-image with my hair. I always wear a hat, and then it makes me embarrassed see people I haven't gone to school with in maybe 12 years, and then, what if I see them or whatnot, or, and so, I'm just trying to be honest with you guys and transparent. I think transparency helps foster trust and helping build relationships. That even though I post a lot of positive things, I struggle too all the time. You can ask my mother, ask my mom, she'll tell you, ask my wife, she'll tell you. But those are just some of the things I struggle with. I struggle with stretch marks. I don't like stretch marks in my arms. I got big stretch mark across my chest because I build muscle so quick. No, but the stretch marks, weight. Right now I was at a point where I was at 151 pounds, and I couldn't gain weight for like 5 years. And then finally last year when I officiated my friend's wedding, which was an honor and a blessing to officiate their wedding, I was at like 195 and I felt real chubby. And then I got up to 217 like just a couple of weeks ago. I'm down to like 204 right now. But it's just like, you have stuff, Ian Malcolm's hands right over my boob right there. So it's like, yeah, it provides me with a goal that I want to strive for. I wasn't happy when I was super skinny because it was like, dang, my wife's one leg, she's fit. Her one leg is like double the size of mine because mine's skin and bones. I got these chicken legs, And then now it's like, nice, dude. My legs are filling out. My butt's getting bigger. Whatever. I'm just trying to be real with you. But now I'm worried about my weight because I eat candy and fast food, And it's just one of those things. I'm just trying to be honest and open with you guys that even though you can have the most positive people in your life, and I would like to think that I'm really positive and try to promote a lot of positive things, there's people, I struggle with the same stuff that everyone else struggles with. So don't get that viewed perspective too of what people post on social media or Facebook. They want to post what they want people to see. It's the same thing with the media. Media doesn't mean that the conspiracy theory, they're always posting lies. It's just they're going to post a majority of stuff that fits the paradigm of the story that they want to tell. There's tons and tons of way more positive things that go on in the world. It's not always a fire, a burglary, someone died, and there's a pandemic. There's wonderful things going on. It's just, people slow down to see the accident on the side of the freeway and you're like, dude, we had a 3-mile backup for this. It took me 30 minutes to go 1 mile because everyone slowed down to look at this accident, because people for some reason gravitate towards that. Can't explain why. Mel Robbins is a great person. She talks about the spotlight effect with anxiety. And this happens to me all the time. I'll be going throughout my day. I'll go through this rampage here in a minute that Abraham Hicks talks about, but I'll be going through a great day. And at the end of the night, I'm sitting in bed. One of my favorite things to do is take a nap with my wife and my kids. We'll be laying in bed. Boy's laying down in his bed. I'm laying there. We're watching a movie, or I'm, watching some sort of video on the mind or subconscious mind, something like that. Or watching LeBron James play because I love LeBron James. And then all of a sudden, I'll start getting this like anxiety, and then my stomach will go in knots, and then I'll feel like I'm gonna throw up, and then my subconscious mind will take, or my ego, I don't know what, will take that memory. It'll trigger, just like a drug addict will have like certain triggers. They say, get rid of the people you'd hang out with, your phone, the car, whatever will trigger you. It'll trigger me and take me back to 2012, where I felt guilty about a ton of stuff in my life, and it'll make me feel like I've been doing something wrong. I'll start to hyperventilate. There's been a couple times where I thought I was dying. I just accepted it. I was like, I'm dying right now. I'm going to go to sleep with my baby girl. And unfortunately, my wife is going to have to find me when she comes home. And that's going to suck. She'll get over it. But I'm going to die right now. And that's how bad it would get, right? I'm laying in bed watching Netflix or watching something on the mind. And then just boom, it happens. And Mel Robbins talked about the spotlight effect was, your brain can't logically understand why you're experiencing that because there is no external danger actually happening. So what it'll do is it'll take this thought and it'll magnify it and blow it way out of proportion. That way it can justify you feeling the way that you feel. Because logically it doesn't make sense. You'd be making coffee in the morning or driving to work and all of a sudden you have this major anxiety attack. It's like there ain't no lion chasing you. Your life is not in danger, but your thought created this emotion, and the emotional response was because of the thought. And one day I realized it helped me to overcome the anxiety to the most part, and how to shut off thought is because I would come home and I would zone out on YouTube or playing a video game, right? I come to find out I'm not having anxiety because my mind is distracted. I never had anxiety that much at work, even though when I worked at my old job, I did have a lot of anxiety for a minute there in 2012. But when I was distracted, I didn't have anxiety. So I was like, the anxiety for me was a product of the thought. If you didn't have the thought, and that's where kind of transcendental meditation or any sort of meditation comes from, is just a stoppage of thought. If you can learn how to quiet your mind, it's hard to have the anxiety because the anxiety is like an emotional response without first thinking about a thought. And then Abraham Hicks will talk about, when you're going to sleep, you reset the law of attraction because you don't have the thought. But the reason why it's real is because your mind does not differentiate between what's real and what's imagined. That's why you can wake up from a nightmare and your heart's pumping, you're sweating. It didn't know that you were dreaming until you woke up. So when you imagine something and you feel the way it feels, people have that regimen where they did a statistic where people shot free throws with a ball. Some people didn't even shoot a free throw at all. They didn't practice. And then some other people didn't shoot a free throw, but they imagined shooting free throws. And imagine it, them shooting like with their eyes closed, just sitting there, imagining the ball going in through. And at the end of the study, people who didn't shoot any free throws of practice, their percentage went down. People who practiced with a basketball, their percentage went up. People that practice without a basketball but only imagine it in their heads, their percentage went up the same as the people who shot the basketball. Your mind can't tell the difference. Okay? So that's why it's important to be mindful of what you're thinking about and what you're feeling, okay? Because it's the same thing with goals. Your life is primarily a product of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions and your beliefs, okay? Your thoughts and your feelings repeated over time create the belief. That's all the belief is, Abraham Hicks will talk about, is that a repeated thought that, and then you go out and you find other evidence. Again, there's other evidence that doesn't support it, but you'll find a bunch of evidence that does, that'll say, oh yeah, this is true fact. And that becomes your belief. And then based upon your beliefs, you create the action. You'll act the way that you believe the world to be. And so over time, that's what your life becomes. You could trace back your entire life based on every decision you've made up to this point. It's like one of those books like where you're choosing, okay, if you want to turn to page whatever, if you choose to do this. Turn to this page if you choose to do this. Well, the same thing. In this moment, I could snap my fingers. I could slap myself in the face. I can get off the chair, I could press pause, I could run over there, I could do anything, I could yell. There's so many things I could do, which says that in any given moment you have all these paths that diverge and split. And so that's probably the last thing for advice and goal setting is start taking responsibility where you are. Stop blaming the government. Stop blaming your education. Stop blaming your spouse or your kids or not enough time in the day. The multimillionaires, guess how much time they have in their day, unless they figure out time travel. The billionaires in the world, they have 24 hours. Hi, baby. They have 24 hours, just the same as me and you. And you've heard that probably numerous times too. You know, a lot of teachers in the world talk about that. You have the same time. But what are most of us doing? Watching Netflix, watching YouTube videos. We're not reading books that often. We're gossiping. We're going on Facebook. We're going on Twitter. We're going on Tumblr, whatever it may be. We're always checking this, that, and that because that's how we're getting our instant gratification. And we're not having a long-term vision for ourselves. You know, so you got to be real with yourself too. And again, don't take my advice. That's probably the biggest piece of advice. Take advice. Who are you taking advice from? How are you deriving your self-image? Are you going to listen to people who support you or put you down? There's plenty of things. Sometimes I'll post like the most positive, profound thing I could find on Facebook. I get like 1 view, 1 comment, 3 likes. Then I got some friends that will post something just totally ridiculous in my opinion, like really ridiculous, something about something stupid. And it's like, oh, 102 comments, 450 likes. You're like, whoa. I posted something that could change your life. You post something about Mariah Carey. But I mean, again, that's just my opinion, my perception, but it's one of those things is, am I going to get down on myself if I post something and someone posts something that refutes it or they don't like what I posted so they post something mean? Am I going to listen to them or going to listen to people that I put and surround myself in my life that are going to uplift me? And be like, hey man, don't listen to those people. You don't even have to read the comments. If it's getting you down, don't read the freaking comments. But you read them anyway, then you start to feel like crap, then you dwell on it, then you take it personally, it affects your self-image because we all have a pretty weak self-image because we derive our self-worth from what other people think. The same people that say you can't do it, when you do it, they're going to say, I knew you could do it all along. They're going to say it. The same people that don't support you, when you make it, they're going to be like, I knew it. Man, that guy, man. Or they're just going to keep bashing you. Doesn't matter. But if you want some real talk from people, sometimes listen to David Goggins or listen to The Rock. They'll make you be like, man, The Rock goes to bed at like midnight and gets up at 4 a.m. I don't know how many of you go to bed at midnight, wake up at 4 a.m. Oh, we need 8 hours of sleep. Says who? Oh, we need 2,000 calories on a diet. Says what, dude? I went 5 years of my life just eating 1 meal a day. I mean, yeah, I was at 150 pounds and I was going through anxiety, but I didn't need the caloric intake that everyone else was talking about in order to sustain my life. There's people that go through intermediate fasting. Oh, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. This is a long tangent. See, I should have stuck to my notes. Now they're saying, oh, hey, you should wait till after at least 11 a.m. to eat. Find what works for you. Stop buying into everything. Find what works for you. Go out there, pick something, anything. If you want to get in shape, just stick to something. If you want to write a book, if you want to paint a picture, if you want to travel more, if you want to write handwritten letters, those are some of the things that I've made this year that I'm sticking to. Then at least stick to one of them for your own sake. Okay, universe is telling me it's time to stop because my kids are starting to yell at each other. I love you guys. I went on a bunch of tangents right there, but I hope it helps somebody.